Hi there, this is Todd from Todd's Tech Tips, and today I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at Mac OS X's built-in magnifier. This magnifier comes on every Mac, and it's one of the main buying reasons. So one of the main reasons why I bought a Mac. I myself am visually impaired, so it makes it a little bit harder for me to use a computer without having to zoom in text quite frequently. One thing I found on a Mac is that it's so easy and convenient to just zoom in the screen by holding down one key and scrolling in. You do have to turn this feature on. So to do this, go down to your dock, then click System Preferences, then click Accessibility. Let's go out here. Accessibility down the bottom there, and then click on Zoom in the left-hand sidebar. From here, you're able to change the key combination you use. So I have mine on Control and scrolling in. You can also smooth the images. You can also turn on picture within picture mode by going down here, and you can also have zoom follow the keyboard focus, so as you're typing your zoomed in screen will stay where the keyboard is, although that can run into a few problems. More on that later. But first thing I want to show you is the picture within picture mode. So right now I'm in full screen mode, so it zooms the whole screen into the certain region of where my mouse is, or where the keyboard is if you have keyboard focus turned on. But keyboard, this isn't good for everything, so picture within picture mode could help you, so let's go ahead and turn that on now. Now let's zoom in, and see now I have this rectangle here. This rectangle is where my magnifying glass, if you will, is. So I can move that freely around the screen wherever I want, up to the time, up to the Apple menu, things like that. So this may work better for you, depending on what you're doing, if you don't want the screen to be fully zoomed in. But there are other options for that, and especially for tracking the pointer. And that is under More Options, so let's go ahead and change it back to full screen. Let's hit More Options here. From this panel, you can change the maximum magnification. You can also change the minimum magnification. So if you want your screen to be magnified a lot as soon as you start zooming in, you can change the minimum magnification. Let's go ahead and test that out here. Note, you do have to change the maximum magnification in order to actually start the change. So let's go ahead and... Yep, we can definitely zoom in a lot more than that now. But I think the minimum magnification only works for when you are within picture-in-picture mode, because full screen it just kind of zooms in as you're going. It only applies to the maximum magnification. So I've changed that back now. Now let's have a look at show the preview rectangle. This tells you where it's going to zoom in. That works pretty well. Although that could get a bit annoying depending on what you're able to see. Now next for the pointer options. I have mine set to continuously with pointer, so the pointer moves around the screen and it continuously follows up. However, you can change it so it goes off to the edge, so this is now set for when only the magnifier and rectangle will only move when the pointer reaches an edge. Notice now I'm able to move my pointer freely without the magnifying rectangle or square following me around. I have to move up to an edge in order to move it. Now let's have a look at set the pointer in the middle of the screen. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it follows the pointer exactly. That's pretty much dead in the center of the screen now, and the rectangle will follow around like as the pointer if it were an anchor. Let's turn it back to continuously with the pointer because that's what I prefer. Go ahead and hit done, and that's about it. That's essentially it. Smooth images works a lot better if you have a Retina MacBook Pro or a high resolution secondary screen, but if you're using a MacBook Air or an older MacBook, you will start to see some pixelation, and depending on what it is, if it's text, it will work fine. Images, things like that, they work fine, but if you're doing it in Photoshop, it doesn't zoom in the pixels, it doesn't zoom in the image, it only zooms in the screen, if that makes sense. But I would use it for when I'm reading text, such as this, so I can zoom it in here and follow it along with my my cursor. Keyboard focus is an interesting one again, because if you are zooming around everywhere and if you go to type, your screen will just flash down to where you're typing. That can get a bit annoying, especially if you are just looking at some certain words, or if you're over here reading something. And if you're typing on another document, if you know what you're typing, you don't want to have the keyboard focus over there. You want to be able to see the writing. That's why I don't use follow the keyboard focus. But that may help you if you're writing a long essay and you don't know what you're typing. But anyway, if I'm typing something, I would use speech dictation, which can be found in another video that I've already done. So go have a look at that. Speech dictation is great. Well, text-to-speech dictation is. Speech-to-text is a different story. So that's the OS X Magnifier, and a little bit more about the magnifying and accessibility features of a Mac. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I wasn't too confusing. Thanks again for watching, and have a nice day.